Hello, and welcome back to Business First Creatives Podcast. I don't know if you know, but a little over a week ago, the internet lost its fucking mind when Taylor Swift went on the New Heights podcast, which is co hosted by the Kelce brothers, Travis, who is her boyfriend, and announced her latest album that was coming out. I mean, everybody was talking about it. Marketing campaigns started around the Easter eggs related to the album and the color scheme and like all of it. And I mostly don't pay attention, except I have a couple of business besties who are the biggest Swifties. And so it's hard for me to, ignore a lot of it because I see it in their content. And then just yesterday, they announced that they are now engaged. And while yesterday I was like, oh, woo woo, I posted on Threads and said something to the effect of, y'all, I know Travis and Taylor got engaged, but I want to talk about the love of my life, my offer systems in session. I mean, I made it really cheeky. But then I started thinking, how can I make photographers, entrepreneurs care about the systems in their business as much as they care about their close personal friend, Taylor, getting engaged? Because yes, I saw many threads that was like, oh, did you hear my personal best friend, Taylor, got engaged today? Like, all in jest, but also y'all are all being like super fucking ridiculous. But I came back to, again, how can I get this kind of buzz around systems in your business? Because you all need them. And a lot of you don't prioritize them. You think that there are other things that are more important in your business than your systems. And you know what? I can't tell you for certainty that systems are the most important thing that you need to fix in your business. I mean, we all run different businesses. But then I went to therapy this morning, and on the drive home, I got it. I got it, and I drove so fast to get home and record this episode for you because I feel like in my brain, I finally tied together how I can make you care about systems in your business and relate it to Travis and Taylor announcing their engagement. So are you ready? Here it is. Part of the buzz that I'm seeing everywhere is, oh my God, I would be so upset if I was their photographer and my photos were going viral and no one was crediting me. And then there's actual photographers that have actual businesses that are like, yeah, guys, she's probably not bothered. She or he, I guess I should clarify, that photographer is probably not bothered because they got enough money when they got paid. Believe that. If they had to sign the level of NDA that it would take to have done that photo session a week ago and only now they're announcing it, like, can you imagine being one of the only people on the planet that knows that Taylor and Travis are engaged and you can't tell anyone? But can you also imagine how much money they got paid? I mean, seriously, I want you to think about that. But it brings me back to your systems. I want to ask you one question, and this is what we're going to talk about for the rest of this episode. If you were the photographer that got an inquiry that said, hey, I'm Taylor Swift, or I'm Taylor Swift's manager, or whoever it was that hired the photographer. If they contacted you and they said, hey, we are doing an engagement session, this day and time, are you available? What would that look like for you? Because I have the sneaking suspicion that a lot of you that listen to this podcast wouldn't have an automatic response that went out to them with additional information until you could respond personally. I have the feeling that a lot of you would find that inquiry buried in your inbox or your CRM if you have one a week later, absolutely kicking yourself that you weren't paying enough attention to see that lead to have potentially been the engagement photographer for Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. Can you imagine the horror that you would feel after realizing that you dropped a fucking ball that big? Now, we're all not going to have the opportunity to photograph Travis and Taylor's engagement photo session. But now I want you to think about the people who are, in fact, contacting you to hire you for your services. Do you have times where people have inquired with you and you are only responding to their inquiry 3 days later. And they respond to you and say, oh, sorry, we hired somebody else. Or, oh, sorry, you're out of our price range. Or, oh, sorry, whatever it is. This is why systems matter. Systems are what help take your leads, your inquiries, from the time that they fill out your contact form all the way through them hiring you until you deliver the photos or the service that they have paid for. And the more thought that you put into your client experience, systems now means less time that you have to spend managing that process for every single lead that comes in your business, every single person that decides to hire you. You give everyone a consistent experience and you let go of all the stress that it takes to manage them all. So, I could say what would happen if Travis and Taylor had chosen you to be their engagement photographer and had inquired about your services. Would you have actually had the systems to allow them to hire you? Or would the process have been so daunting they said, thanks, but no thanks? That's what I want you to think about today. And again, I am not a Swiftie. I care about you and your systems, and I want you to care about them too. And if it takes me putting this Taylor and Travis spin on it to get you to see the value of being able to take care of people when they fill out your contact form or when they say, oh, I'm in, send me over the booking process. Like, do you think that Taylor's manager is going to want to handle you if you say, oh, okay, well, here's my offers? And then they have to come back and tell you, okay, well, we're interested in this. And then you go and you send them a contract. And then you have to wait until they sign the contract, which also newsflash, they're probably not signing your contract. You're probably signing theirs, but that's a special case scenario. But then you're waiting until you get the signed contract back to then send them the invoice. All of that back and forth. Do you think that someone on Taylor's level is going to want to deal with that? Now, why does the everyday person inquiring about your services deserve any less? Okay. I know that this is way out of my normal wheelhouse, guys, getting on here talking about Taylor Swift, bringing in like the latest Instagram craze to talk about systems. But I just really want you guys to think about whether or not your systems could handle the next high level client that wants to book your services. And if they're not famous, just think about the next person who is super interested in your services and has the money and is the ideal client for you. Are they going to be impressed with your inquiry system, or are they going to cross you off a list and move on to the next person? And so I'm going to end with talking about my offer, because if I didn't, I would probably kick myself later. These are the things that we do inside of Systems in Session. Now, I know that Travis and Taylor have found, everlasting love. I am also married 24, almost 25 years at this point. But I will tell you right now, I am in love with my Systems in Session offer. This is where you come to me for a 60-day container. And currently I'm testing a 30-day container. So there might be more options soon. But this is where you come to me and we design and implement a client experience that has your clients raving about you, increasing your referrals, increasing your retention. And we get it all done in Dubsado or Honeybook in less than 60 days. So if you have heard everything that I've said today and you're like, you know what, my clients deserve the very best and I want my client experience systems to reflect that, let's chat. All right. That's it for this episode. I'll see you guys next time.